Remember the Vauxhall Corsa Electric? Probably one of the most approachable little electric cars ever made. But one that also managed to be, how do I say this politely, a bit dull. But luckily, it seems like someone at Vauxhall has been listening. So now we have this, the new Vauxhall Corsa Electric, and that is a makeover right there. Different, isn't it? A bit more grown-up looking and definitely more modern. It's had a bit of a hardware upgrade as well. But first, let's talk about how it looks. Now, one of the things that we actually complained about with the Corsa Electric was that although it was based on the same bits as the Peugeot E208, it actually ended up looking a bit like the frumpy sibling. Not great really, but you cannot say that anymore. But what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below. Is this enough to put the Corsa on your most wanted list? So it probably looks a bit more like Vauxhall's current range at the moment, mainly actually thanks to the visor at the front end here, which we've already seen on the Mokka and the Astra. Overall it's sharper, it's neater, it's more modern, and yet still it's a small 5-door hatchback, which is rather impressive. Now the rest is pretty much as it was before, although the badges on the back have actually moved into the middle of the car. There's a shark fin antenna on the roof, black 17-inch wheels, and then it's in this graphic grey colour, which is quite nice. I don't think it necessarily sets everything off as much as it could do, but it definitely moves things forward. And you know what? The same could be said for inside. Take a look around, because yes, it is still instantly recognisably a Corsa, but there have been lots of updates taking place. This, for example, you've got a larger 10-inch touchscreen in most of the models. The one before was 7 inches. There's also been updates to the infotainment system with more powerful processing, and actually you do notice a difference. The graphics are newer, they're sharper. Even you can tell the difference on this one, the little 7-inch driver information display that's up here. Plus there's things like, new seat fabrics. And I quite like this, stitching the attention to detail here. And also there's a slightly different steering wheel. I think overall, attention to detail is how I would describe it. The details have really been looked after. And with all of these things, well, it's always the small things that make the difference, right? What else can you do? Oh, I know. You can mirror your phone to the screen wirelessly. Quite useful. There's also wireless charging, there's voice control, 3D maps, and over-the-air updates. So your car is getting smarter all the time. And then there's also the rather useful My Vauxhall app. And with that, you can do the usual stuff like schedule charging and checking on the car remotely. There's good equipment too, even on the lower GS grade. You get LED lights all round and lots of toys. Stump up for the ultimate spec and you get heated seats and wheel, as well as keyless entry, extra driver assistance systems, USBs in the back seats, a rear parking camera, and the fancy IntelliLux LED headlights. Big car equipment in a small car package. After that, the basic shapes haven't really changed. There's still okay-ish space in the back and a boot that's good for this size of car. At 267 litres, it's noticeably bigger than, say, a Mini Electric at 211. Generally, though, it does feel fresher, which is all good news. Because the Corsa hasn't just had a few superficial tweaks, the changes go deeper than that. The battery has grown from 46.6 kilowatt hours to 48.1, enough to jump the WLTP range from 222 miles to 255, which is a 15% increase. It doesn't sound like that much, right up until you need to get home without stopping, and it's 30 miles away. There is also a 15% increase in power and more torque. So now you get 154 brake horsepower rather than the old car's 134. but because the new car weighs a bit more, it might actually have a similar 0 to 62 mile per hour time to the old one. Although that was actually 7.6 seconds, so I think that's probably more than enough. Unless you're Ginny Buckley, of course, who thinks that only things that go faster than Porsches are exciting.
And the good news doesn't stop there. There's now an 11 kilowatt AC charger as standard on all models, so topping up at a relevant public AC spot should be nice and useful, along with the usual 100 kilowatt of DC charging ability, which should see 10 to 80% charge in around half an hour, which is all very workable indeed. As far as we know, the standard Vauxhall Electric warranties do still apply, so you're looking at an 8-year or 100,000 miles battery ticket and 3 years or 60,000 miles on the rest of the car, which isn't class leading by any means. But you do get an Octopus Electroverse card with all new Vauxhalls, and that gives you easy access to a whole load of public chargers, and that's really worth having.
So, the new Corsa Electric is likely to be one of the easiest small electric cars to use. However, this time, it really looks the part. It looks a load more interesting. There's improved range, better charging ability, and some really useful improvements and updates, lots of good things to get excited about. The worry is, though, it might just be a touch pricey. The current Corsa Electric, at the time of filming, costs just under £32,000 for the GS and $34,500 for the Ultimate model. And it might be a bit more with the updated stuff. So that basically means, in short, it's expensive, especially when you do compare it to something like the MG4 standard range at £26,995, which kind of does the same job. So is it enough to tempt you away from the competition? So what do you guys think, our lovely electrifiers? Will this updated Corsa Electric be enough to keep it desirable? Or perhaps you think the game has moved on too fast? Let us know in the comments below. Be honest, as you always are. And remember to click on that subscribe button, put those notifications on, and then you will be the first to know when we get to take that to the track.